I think in that situation, or in anybody's situation where they're going through a hard time and they cannot do anything about the circumstances, not to lose yourself in it, to be as present for you as you can be and show up as best you can in the situation. And the way to show up the best you can is to make sure that your nutrition's good, is to make sure that your thinking's at least a bit higher. A feeling of sadness, think about this, a feeling of sadness does not interrupt your intelligent response or your thinking, especially for someone else. If you're feeling sad for someone else, guess what we all do? We rock up and we come up with something right to say to that person. And yet we don't do it for ourselves. We don't say it to ourselves. And that to me is the center of self-care. You've got to ask yourself what's important in your life now for you. And somehow we think that is dismissive of others. It's not. It's not dismissive of others. It means you, instead of being able to help one person, you can maybe help 3 people. I think it's great when people reach out and when people respond and they support it. The one caveat I would look at is, don't try and help with the circumstance, try and help with the thinking. Because if you try and help with the circumstance, pretty much you're going to struggle, depending on what it is. Because it could be from the past, it could be from the future, or it could be reality. And reality is reality. There's not much you can do unless you really can take action. You know, if we take another thing from this, take action. You know, if we take action from it. I've got a quote here that fits in with Overwhelm. It's not about our daily increase, but it's about our daily decrease. So let go of the complexity of your insecure thinking and move towards the simplicity of your creative, quiet mind. And in that moment, sit with the feeling and the emotion for 90 seconds. If you deplete your energy through whatever, lack of food, lack of sleep, lack of insight, lack of vision, if you close your world down into that overwhelm, all you will see is overwhelm, and all you will feed that overwhelm with is your joy. But we also have that, we go into freeze response, you know, where we sort of maybe become an ostrich or something, and don't face up to things. So that is don't beat yourself up about that. That's a natural response with the premise that you think something is really, really wrong. I came up, I'm going to use this because I came up with it in my head. I think it was thinking about the fear and going back to prehistoric times where we run away from, I always say saber-toothed tigers, I don't know how scary they are, but running away from a saber-toothed tiger and all your adrenaline and all that's going, this is the same as in modern day life. It's the same as in modern day life, that it's not a saber-toothed tiger, but it's your thoughts around fear. And it's that hamster wheel of just constantly going. And you absolutely get depleted. And the only thing that your system tells you to do is to stop or slow down. And it's a system, your body's system is correct. And yet our thinking auto-corrects it. So when it says rest or be quiet, it goes, must get something done. It's like an autocorrect on your phone. In case you put in, oh yeah, I'm just gonna spend an hour relaxing. It goes, no, do something else. Tidy up, do something else. Go to work, spend more hours, scroll social media. The autocorrect, because you're thinking, and that's what a habit is, isn't it? A bad habit is an autocorrect based on the fact that you've associated to a feeling that tells you that you should just be sad. The thoughts come in the same vehicle, and the trigger for your sympathetic nervous system is a trigger for your sympathetic nervous system. You can't really control it. It's going to spike through adrenaline and cortisol, and it's going to make you. You could say that you get addicted to that. That's why we get addicted to exercise. You get addicted to the chemicals in your body that make you feel better. So it's about being conscious. It's about being conscious of that and knowing that it's knowing how to control it, knowing the best thing to do for you. We're designed to rest. We're designed to sleep. It's all part of it. 2.5 hours a day, is it 2.5 hours a day or 2.5 hours a week of healthy adrenaline rushes. We're supposed to cope with about 2.5 hours. I don't know if it's a day or a week now. Let's say a day anyway. But if you're on adrenaline for the whole day because you're anxious, because you're overwhelmed, which you will be, you'll be on adrenaline. You'll be spiking all your chemicals and spiking all your hormones, unless you take time out. And I took time out from my thinking by defragging it, by dropping it 80%. So when I get any chance of overwhelm now, it's a couple of thoughts in, and I can deal with them in the present moment. When I started out on my keto journey, I reckon my success to losing 46 pounds so quickly was because I started happy. I had no stress in my body. I had no cortisol in my body. Our bodies, our systems are designed for prehistoric effect, but we're living in a modern society where we're completely overrun with our thinking. We run our whole world with our computer brain. We think our logic is what's supposed to happen. We've lost connection with our feeling state, and therefore we think that we have to have some coping mechanisms, some things we have to do, and we don't. We just need to be in touch with our feelings. I guarantee anybody here, if you're in overwhelm, you will do better with that overwhelm from a quiet mind. And if you haven't got a quiet mind, then that's where you bring in the actions that you talked about. The actions to get to a quiet mind. Let me read another quote, and that might fit in with what I just said then. This is entitled The Origin of Fear. The psychological condition of fear is divorced from any concrete and true immediate danger. We make it up in our heads. There's no saber-toothed tiger in this Zoom room. It comes in many forms: unease, worry, anxiety, nervousness, tension, dread, phobia, and you can put overwhelm in there as well, and so on. This kind of psychological fear is always of something that might happen, not of something that is happening now. How can anybody be overwhelmed now, right at this moment, unless they think themselves to it? I've got the temperature in here is quite nice. It's dark outside, the light's on. I'm looking at you guys. There's nothing I can do to be in overwhelm. But I know I can get myself into overwhelm if I think enough about it. You are in the here and now, while your mind is in the future. This creates an anxiety gap. And if you're identified with your mind and have lost touch with the power and simplicity of the now, that anxiety gap will be your constant companion. Oh, the anxiety will be your constant companion. Let's do something about this now. You can always cope with the present moment.